The Abuja-Kaduna Highway was once the pride of the North. It was a ribbon of asphalt connecting the seat of power in the capital to the old political stronghold of Kaduna. It was a road of commerce, of swift travel, of connection. Now, in the 5th year of the crisis, it had a new name: Hanya Mutua, the Road of Death. Real quick. Stories like this are happening all around us, often in silence. My goal is to give them a voice. If you want to be part of that journey and never miss a case, hit the subscribe button. You won't want to miss what I'm working on next. Alright, let's get back to it. The terror had migrated. It had spilled out of the deep forests of Zamfara and the rural hills of southern Kaduna and onto the pavement. The bandits had realized that while stealing cows was profitable, stealing people was a goldmine. And the richest people traveled this road. It was 4 p.m. on a Friday. The sun was beginning its descent, casting long, deceptive shadows across the tarmac near Rihanna, a village surrounded by dense forest on both sides. Kingsley, a driver for North Links Transport, gripped the steering wheel of his Toyota Hiace bus until his knuckles turned white. He was sweating, despite the AC. In the back, 14 passengers sat in tense silence. Among them were students returning to Ahmadu Bello University, a woman with a crying baby, and a retired civil servant clutching a Bible. "Driver, please go faster," a young student whispered from the back seat. "If I fly, I will fly," Kingsley snapped, his eyes scanning the tree line. "Pray to God, don't talk to me." Just 2 kilometers ahead, a different kind of vehicle was cruising. It was a black Toyota Land Cruiser, bulletproof, with tinted windows. Inside sat Hajia Binta, the wife of a prominent senator in Abuja. She was on her phone, complaining about the reception. "Yes, I will be in Kaduna by 6, she said, examining her manicured nails. "The driver is too slow. These police escorts are driving like old women." In the front seat, a mobile police officer, Mopal, with an AK-47 on his lap chewed on a cola nut. He looked bored. He believed the siren and the flashing lights were a shield. He was wrong. The trap was sprung at mile 40. It didn't start with a roadblock. It started with a coordinated assault from the forest edge. The sound was unmistakable. Gunfire erupted from both sides of the road, targeting the tires of the vehicles. Kingsley screamed as his bus swerved violently, the front tire shredded by a bullet. He wrestled the bus to a halt, the smell of burning rubber filling the cabin. "Get down! Get down!" he yelled. Ahead, the Land Cruiser swerved but didn't stop. The bulletproof glass spiderwebbed as rounds hammered it. But then, a rocket-propelled grenade, RPG, a weapon that had no business being in the hands of ragtag bandits, streaked from the bush. It didn't hit the car, but it exploded on the tarmac right in front of it. The shockwave flipped the heavy SUV onto its side. The police escort vehicle behind it slammed on the brakes. The 2 policemen inside opened their doors to return fire, but they were cut down before their feet touched the ground. They were outnumbered 20-1. The highway became a kill zone. Traffic for a mile behind slammed to a halt. Drivers abandoned their cars, sprinting into the bush in a blind panic, unaware they were running straight into the arms of the waiting kidnappers. Men emerged from the forest like ants. They were dressed in combat gear, faces masked, moving with terrifying efficiency. They weren't looking for food. They were looking for inventory. A bandit yanked open the door of Kingsley's bus. He dragged the driver out and smashed a rifle butt into his face. "Fito! Go vaya Fito! Come out! Everyone come out!" The passengers stumbled out, weeping. The retired civil servant held his Bible up. "In the name of Jesus." A slap silenced him. "Walk," the bandit commanded, pointing his gun toward the deep forest. Up ahead, the scene at the Land Cruiser was different. The bandits pried the door open. When they saw Hajia Binta, dazed but alive, wearing gold jewelry and expensive lace, their eyes widened. They knew instantly this was a big fish. They didn't beat her. They didn't slap her. 2 of them helped her up, almost gently. "Madam, follow us," the leader said in broken English. "We are going for a walk." They herded the victims together, the students, the driver, the mother with the baby, and the senator's wife. Over 50 people were gathered from different cars. Then, the forced march began. They walked for 6 hours, deep into the bush, far away from the road, far away from the sirens that were only now beginning to wail in the distance. They walked until shoes fell apart, until feet bled. When they finally reached a temporary camp, segregation began. It was a brutal lesson in the economics of life in Nigeria. The leader, a scarred man named Yellow, walked down the line of captives with a flashlight. He stopped at the students. "Who is your father?" he asked a trembling girl. He is a teacher," she sobbed. Yellow spat. "Teacher? Useless. 50 million or we kill you." He moved to Hajia Binta. She was sitting on a log, apart from the others. Someone had given her a bottle of water, a luxury the others were denied. "Hajia," Yellow said, squatting down. "We know who your husband is. We know he is in the Senate Committee for Defense. You are a special guest." He handed her a satellite phone. "Call him. Tell him the price is 200 million. Tell him if he delays, we will marry you off to one of the boys." The disparity was sickening. The students were tied up, beaten, and thrown onto the bare ground. Hajia Binta was given a mat. The bandits knew that the government would move heaven and earth for the wife of a senator. The students. They were statistics. The next morning, the nation's reaction. Channels TV. Breaking news. Senator's wife kidnapped along Abuja Kaduna highway. Newscaster. Panic gripped the nation yesterday as Hajia Binta, wife of Senator Garba, was abducted. The Inspector General of Police has deployed a special tactical squad and a helicopter to ensure her safe return. The Senate President has condemned the act, calling it an assault on democracy. The 40 other people kidnapped from the bus and other cars were mentioned only as "and several others" in the last sentence of the report. Twitter, X. The outrage. At Niger Eagle, they deployed a helicopter because a senator's wife was taken. "When my uncle was taken last month, the police asked us to pay for the fuel for their van. This country is a crime scene. #Secure North. 3,000 retweets. At Dear Aisha Yusufu, parody The life of a politician's wife is worth a helicopter. The life of a university student is worth a hashtag. We are on our own. At Govt Official, we assure the public that the highway is safe. This was an isolated incident. Commuters should continue their journeys without fear." The reality in the bush. 3 days later, the helicopter did come. It circled high above the forest canopy. The bandits laughed at it. They knew the pilots couldn't see anything through the dense foliage. They simply moved the camp deeper. Hajia Binta's ransom was paid quietly. A sleek black bag containing 100 million Nigerian nairas in cash, negotiated down, was dropped at a location. She was released, driven to the roadside, and picked up by a convoy of DSS operatives. She flew back to Abuja for a medical checkup in Dubai. The students and the bus driver remained. For them, the nightmare was just beginning. Their parents were selling land, selling cars, taking loans from sharks. Kingsley, the driver, sat in the mud, watching the senator's wife leave. He looked at the student beside him, whose face was swollen from a beating. "Don't look at her," Kingsley whispered, his voice cracking. "She is living in Nigeria. We are living in the bush. There are 2 countries here, my brother. And we are in the wrong one." The Abuja Kaduna highway was officially declared safe again by the Minister of Interior the next day. But the traffic had thinned. The train station was now overflowing with desperate people, pushing and shoving to get a ticket, praying they wouldn't be next. The bandits counted their money. They bought more RPGs. They bought night vision goggles. They were no longer just ragtag criminals. They were now better funded than the local police. And deep in the forest, the sheikh watched the news on a smartphone, smiling. He saw the division. He saw the anger. "The rich run," he told his lieutenants. "The poor stay. And we eat them both." If you looked at a map of Nigeria, the forest was just a patch of green. But if you stepped inside, it was a country of its own. By the 6th year, the bandits were no longer living in makeshift tents. The Subu forest had become a fortress. Deep beneath the canopy of ancient trees, Where the satellites couldn't see and the police dared not go, a city of crime had been built. Generators hummed, powering freezers full of cold drinks and televisions showing football matches. Hundreds of stolen cattle grazed in clearings, branded with the marks of their new owners. There were mechanics fixing motorcycles, women, some wives, many captives, cooking in large iron pots, and young boys, no older than 12, cleaning AK-47s as if they were toys. In the center of this camp sat Dogo, the warlord who had burned the church in southern Kaduna. He was cleaning his teeth with a chewing stick, watching his men test a new shipment of anti-aircraft guns mounted on trucks. But today, Dogo was not the most powerful man in the camp. A white Toyota Hilux, mud-splattered but expensive, wound its way through the trees. The bandits didn't raise their guns. They cheered. "Shiki! Shiki!" Out stepped a man who looked out of place. He wasn't wearing military fatigues or rags. He wore a pristine white kaftan and a polished cap. His beard was neatly trimmed. This was the Sheikh, the ideological spine of the insurgency. He wasn't a killer, he was a salesman. And his product was justification. He walked to the center of the camp, where hundreds of fighters gathered. They smelled of sweat, hemp, and gunpowder. The Sheikh smelled of expensive oud perfume. A young man with a smartphone, the camp's media director, started recording. "My brothers," the Sheikh began, his voice soft, almost grandfatherly. He didn't shout. He spoke with the quiet confidence of a man who knew he was untouchable. "I hear the radio," the Sheikh continued, pacing slowly. "I hear them call you criminals. I hear them call you terrorists. They say you are monsters." He paused, looking into the eyes of a teenage boy who had killed 3 people the week before. "But I ask you, who made you this way?" The crowd murmured. "When they stole your cows in 2015, did the police arrest them?" "No." "When the vigilantes killed your uncle in the market because he looked like a Fulani, did the judge sentence them?" "No." The Sheikh raised a finger. "They pushed you to the wall. And now that the lion has turned to bite, they cry about the blood. You are not criminals. You are freedom fighters. You are fighting for your dignity. You are fighting for the survival of your people." A roar of approval went up. It was a lie, of course. Dogo didn't care about dignity. He cared about the millions of naira buried in plastic drums behind his tent. But the lie was necessary. It gave the young boys a reason to kill without guilt. It turned banditry into a holy war. "The government has sent me," the Sheikh announced, dropping the bombshell. "They want to talk. They want peace." Dogo stood up, spitting out his chewing stick. "Peace? Or money?" The Sheikh smiled. "Both. They are offering an amnesty program. They say if we stop the killing for a few months, they will pay us. They will give us contracts to guard the forests." Laughter rippled through the older bandits. The absurdity of it. The government wanted to pay the wolves to guard the sheep. "We will take the meeting," Dogo said, his voice low. "We will take their money. We will buy more guns. And when the money runs out, we eat again." The video release. 2 days later, the video recorded in the forest hit social media. It was titled "The Truth from the Bush." In the video, the Sheikh sat on a mat, flanked by Dogo and other masked commanders. He looked calm, rational. "We are ready for peace," the Sheikh told the camera. "But the government must stop harassing these boys. These boys are victims of neglect. They have no schools, no veterinary clinics for their cows. Build them hospitals, give them grants, and they will drop their guns." The video went viral instantly. The public reaction. Facebook, Politics Today Group. User, Emeka_PH, "Are you mad? Victims. They kidnapped 50 students last week. And this man is sitting with them drinking tea. Arrest the Sheikh." User, Musa_Gom, "It is complicated. The Sheikh is trying to save lives. If he talks to them, maybe they will stop killing. Military action has failed for 6 years. Let us try dialogue." User, Abuja_Insider, "This is business. The Sheikh is the middleman. The bandits get paid, the government officials get their cut of the security vote, and the poor people keep dying. It is an industry." The peace meeting. A week later, a government delegation actually arrived at the edge of the forest. They were state officials, sweating in their agbada, looking terrified. They brought bags of cash, compensation for lost cattle, they called it on paper. In reality, it was protection money. Dogo accepted the bags. He shook hands with the secretary to the state government. Pictures were taken. "We will lay down our arms," Dogo lied, his hand resting on his pistol. The headline the next day read, "Peace at last, bandits accept amnesty." For 2 months, the killings slowed down. The government celebrated. The sheikh was hailed as a peacemaker. But in the forest, the factories were busy. The money from the government wasn't used to build schools or buy cattle. It was used to order heavy machine guns from the black market in the Sahel. It was used to buy hundreds of new motorcycles. The sheikh returned to his mansion in the city, his job done. He had bought them time. He had legitimized them. And when the money ran out in month 3, Dogo looked at his new arsenal. He looked at the map. He pointed to a village in Niger State called Shiroro. "The holiday is over," Dogo said. "Now, we go to work." The peace deal hadn't stopped the fire. It had just poured petrol on it. The peace deal had dissolved like salt in water. The money the government had paid Dogo and his men didn't buy peace, it bought them ambition. They had grown bored of simply raiding. Raiding was risky. Raiding required constant movement. Why raid a village when you can own it? In the fertile lands of Shiroro, famous for its yam and corn, the harvest season had arrived. The stalks were high and golden, swaying in the wind. But the farmers of the village of Karib did not sharpen their sickles with joy. They sharpened them with dread. At 10 a.m., the roar of motorcycles cut through the fields. But this time, there was no shooting. There was no screaming. The villagers didn't run. They couldn't. They had nowhere left to go. A convoy of 50 motorcycles rode into the village square. They parked in neat rows. These men wore new uniforms, mismatched camouflage fatigues bought with the amnesty money. A man stepped forward. He was not Dogo, but one of his trusted lieutenants, a man known as Kakala, the boss. He held something terrifying in his hand, a notebook. He walked to the village center where the terrified elders were gathered. He didn't wave a gun. He opened the notebook. "Malam Ordu," Kakala read aloud, his finger tracing a line. A trembling farmer stepped forward. "I am here." "You have 5 hectares of corn," Kakala stated, not asking. "Your tax for this season is 200,000 naira. And 10 bags of rice for the boys." "Harbor, Kakala," Ordu pleaded, falling to his knees. "The rain was not good. I don't have that kind of money. Please, have mercy." Kakala didn't shout. He simply nodded to a boy standing behind him. The boy stepped forward and smashed the butt of his rifle into Ordu's mouth. Teeth scattered on the dusty ground. "Mercy is for God," Kakala said calmly. "We are the government here. If you do not pay by Friday, we burn the field. If you try to harvest without paying, we kill your son." This was the new reality. The bandits had become the state. They imposed levies on everything: a tax for planting, a tax for harvesting, a tax for marriage. They settled disputes. If 2 farmers had an argument over land, they didn't go to the court or the police, they went to the bandit king. But the district head of Karib, a proud man named Alhaji Saliu, could not take it anymore. He remembered the days when the Nigerian flag meant something. Late that night, while the bandits were feasting on stolen goats at the edge of the village, Saliu crept into his room. He pulled out a hidden technophone. The network was terrible. The bandits had destroyed most of the masts, but he found a single bar of service near the window. He dialed the number of the state governor's office, a line he had been given years ago during an election campaign. "Hello. Hello." Saliu whispered, sweat stinging his eyes. "This is Karib. They are here. They are taxing us. Please, send the army. We are dying." A bored voice on the other end replied, "We are aware of the security challenges. We are working on it. Just remain calm." "Calm?" Saliu hissed. "They are ruling us. There is no Nigeria here. Send the..." The door kicked open. Kakala stood there. He wasn't smiling. He held a signal jammer in one hand and a pistol in the other. "You have a big mouth, Ulhaji," Kakala said. The next morning, the villagers were summoned to the square. Ulhaji Salu was dragged out, battered and bloody. "This man," Kakala announced to the weeping crowd, "tried to call the people in the city. He thinks they care about you. He thinks they are coming to save you." Kakala laughed, a dry, humorless sound. "Look at the road. Do you see any soldiers? Look at the sky. Do you see any jets? No, only us." He raised his pistol. "We are your governor now." Bang! The execution was public. It was final. The message was clear: the Nigerian state had ceased to exist in Shiroro. The vacuum had been filled by the warlords. The media reaction. The Punch newspaper. Editorial. Headline: Ungoverned spaces. Who is in charge of Niger State? Reports from Shiroro indicate that bandits are now collecting taxes from farmers. This is a direct affront to the sovereignty of the nation. A state within a state has been formed. The federal government must act before the map of Nigeria is redrawn by criminals. Government press conference, Abuja. Minister of Information. The reports of territories being under the control of bandits are fake news. They are propaganda designed to discredit the administration. Our troops are clearing the forests as we speak. No inch of Nigerian territory is ceded. As he spoke, a video circulated on WhatsApp showing Kakala collecting bags of cash from farmers, the Nigerian flag burning in the background. Twitter, X. The disconnect. At Niger State Youth, the minister is lying. My father paid 500k yesterday to access his farm. If he didn't pay, we would starve. We are slaves in our own land. Shiroro is gone. At Lagos Party Boy. Crazy things happening in the North O. Anyway, who is going to the Davido concert this weekend? The reality. In Carib, the farmers returned to the fields. They worked with their heads down. When they harvested the corn, they loaded the best portions onto the bandits' trucks. They watched as the food they grew was taken to feed the army that oppressed them. They had stopped praying for the army to come. They realized that if the army came now, they would just bomb the village and call it collateral damage. They were trapped between the devil in the forest and the deep blue sea of government indifference. But in the neighboring state of Kebbi, a group of men was watching. They were hunters. They were old warriors. And they were tired of kneeling. They began to sharpen their machetes, not for farming, but for a suicide mission. The sun in Zuru was different. It didn't just shine, it burned. It was a warrior's sun. For 7 years, the people of the Northwest had waited. They had waited for the police, who asked for fuel money. They had waited for the army, who arrived only after the smoke had cleared. They had waited for the politicians, who sent bags of rice instead of ammunition. In Zuru, they were done waiting. Zuru was the home of hunters. These were men who tracked lions and hyenas before the bandits ever picked up a gun. They believed in the old ways, in courage, in honor, and in layer, charms, that they swore could turn a bullet into water. The gathering happened in the village of Makuku. It wasn't a secret. It was a raw. Over 500 men had gathered. They came from Kebbi, from Niger, from Zamfara. They were the Yang Sokai, the volunteer guard. They didn't wear Kevlar vests or helmets. They wore brown hunting tunics sewn with cowries and leather amulets. They carried Dane guns, machetes, and single-barreled shotguns. A few lucky ones had locally fabricated pistols. At the center of the crowd stood Baba Soni, a hunter whose skin was like leather and whose eyes were milky with cataracts, yet who claimed he could see a spirit from a mile away. The government has failed.
Bobosani shouted, raising a roisted sword.
The forest belongs to us. Today, we go to the bandit camp in the dark valley. We will finish them.
No prisoners.
A deafening cheer went up.
Muye, muye.
Let's go. Let's go. A young schoolteacher named Yusuf watched from the sidelines. He had begged his brother, Umar, not to join. Umar, please. Yusuf had pleaded earlier that morning. They have anti-aircraft guns mounted on trucks. You have a stick and a knife. This is suicide. Umar, tying a red charm around his bicep, had smiled sadly. "It is better to die on my feet than to live paying tax to a criminal. If I don't come back, take care of my mother." At noon, the convoy moved. It was a sea of motorcycles, 500 strong, kicking up a dust storm that could be seen for miles. They rode without fear, chanting war songs, convinced that their charms and their righteous anger were enough. They were wrong. The bandits didn't just have guns. They had radios. They had informants in the villages who had texted them the moment the vigilantes left Makuku. The dark valley was a narrow gorge with high rocky cliffs on both sides. It was the perfect kill box. The vigilantes rode into the valley, their engines echoing off the walls. They were looking for a fight. They didn't see the men lying prone on the cliffs above. Dogo, the warlord, watched through a pair of high-powered binoculars stolen from a military captain years ago. He stood on the ridge, chewing a stalk of grass. He didn't look worried. He looked bored. "Wait until they are all inside," Dogo commanded into his walkie-talkie. When the last motorcycle entered the gorge, Dogo dropped his hand. It wasn't a battle. It was an execution. The sound was like the sky ripping open. Heavy machine guns, dushkas, usually mounted on trucks to shoot down aircraft, were angled down from the cliffs. They opened fire. Thud, 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 thud. The heavy rounds didn't just kill. They disintegrated. They tore through the motorcycles, through the charms, through the flesh. Panic erupted. The vigilantes tried to return fire, but their Dane guns couldn't reach the cliffs. They were shooting at ghosts. "Retreat! Retreat!" Baba Sonny screamed, realizing too late the magnitude of the trap. But the exit was blocked. A group of bandits emerged from the rocks behind them, firing RPGs into the clustered mass of motorcycles. Umar, the brother of the teacher, was thrown from his bike. He crawled through the dust, his ears ringing, the air filled with the smell of burning petrol and blood. He saw Baba Sonny, the invincible hunter, lying face down, his charms soaked in red. "Where is the magic?" Umar thought, his vision fading as a shadow loomed over him. "Where is the government?" The slaughter lasted for an hour. When the guns finally went silent, over 80 vigilantes lay dead in the ravine. The rest were scattered into the bush, hunted down one by one. The bandits walked down from the cliffs. They didn't take prisoners. They walked among the bodies, shooting anyone who moved. They collected the weapons, the pitiful Dane guns, and laughed. "Look at them," Dogo sneered, kicking a dead vigilante. "They brought sticks to a war." The news reached Makuku at sunset. It wasn't delivered by a messenger. It was delivered by the riderless motorcycles that some survivors had managed to steer back, carrying the wounded. The wailing of the women was a sound so primal it felt like the earth itself was crying. Yusuf found his brother's body the next day, dumped by the roadside as a warning. The Daily Post. Headline: Massacre in Kebbi, over 60 vigilantes feared dead in ambush. A tragic clash occurred yesterday when members of the local Yang Sokai group attempted to infiltrate a bandit hideout. Security experts have long warned against untrained civilians engaging heavily armed criminal gangs. Social media, the cruelty of distance. At securityanalyst_Abuja. This is what happens when you don't follow the rule of law. Vigilantism is illegal. These people should have waited for the military.
Suicide mission.
Reply from @Zuru-san. Waited for who? The military that hasn't come in 8 years. You sit in Abuja and talk law. We are dying here. At troll account, they thought Juju would save them. AK-47 village charms. Welcome to the 21st century. This tweet got 200 likes before being deleted. The lowest point. That night, the spirit of the resistance broke. The Yang Sokai disbanded. They realized that courage alone could not defeat an enemy funded by millions of naira in ransoms and armed with military-grade weapons. The villagers of Zuru, of Makuku, of Sakaba, locked their doors. They stopped looking to the horizon for help. They accepted their fate. They were cattle waiting for the butcher. In the State House, the governor held an emergency meeting. 80 dead? He asked, his face pale. Yes, Your Excellency, the Commissioner of Police replied. Blame the terrain, the governor said, rubbing his temples. Issue a statement blaming the difficult terrain. But in the forest, Dogo and the sheikh were celebrating. They had crushed the only force that dared to stand against them. Now, the sheikh said, sipping his tea, there is nothing standing between us and the soul of the north. But they had made a mistake. The scale of the massacre was too big to hide. The photos of the bodies in the ravine were spreading internationally. The world was finally looking. And in Abuja, the pressure was becoming a bomb that was about to explode. If you want to see how this war finally ends, hit that subscribe button right now. Do not look away. Click the video on the screen to watch the grand finale, Part 3. See you there.